Hi guys, and welcome back to Couch Critics. Today we're gonna review
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. So it's a Tim Burton movie,
Yeah.
and it's basically a sequel to the original Beetlejuice that was
Mhm.
out in the 90s maybe. It was
Yeah.
very old. And yeah, it has Jenna Ortega. It has the same cast as the original Beetlejuice,
Mhm.
which I find very amazing because Winona Ryder, Catherine O'Hara, they all had careers that skyrocketed after
Mhm.
the movie. And yeah, so basically, Lydia, who's played by Winona Ryder, the movie starts with her father passing away, and she has a talk show about ghosts because in the original movie, she she saw ghosts and like there were witnesses, so it became a thing.
Yeah.
And they go back to the house that was haunted by the original ghosts and Beetlejuice, and from there, it's the whole movie unravels, and there's her daughter also involved. So yeah, Lemia, what did you think?
Okay, so I haven't seen
Yeah,
the previous Beetlejuice, so like this is my perspective. It's a perspective from someone who haven't seen it, and you saw the original one.
I saw it recently actually. I saw it when
Okay.
I came like in May, but I knew of Beetlejuice because over last summer I came across the soundtrack from the musical because
Oh, they
they
have a musical.
transformed the first movie into a musical, and I came across the songs and I found them very interesting.
Mhm.
So that's how I saw it. But yeah, I did watch the first one not long ago though.
So yeah, I have heard of the first one, and I've heard that it's great. So I had very high expectations when it came to the second one, but I purposely didn't look up the first one just because I wanted to go into this movie with a fresh brain and just like discover this new universe without having any previous judgments. And I mean, I still don't know what to think. I've watched the movie yesterday night, and I think that the images are beautiful, but if you put them together, like it's not very coherent and it's not that fun. The plot is very weak. To me, it's the way that I see it, it's just another movie where Jenna Ortega is mad because someone dared to be happy around her. So literally, and
Wednesday the sequel.
yeah, and I feel like all of her movies have been like this lately,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it's great, but like I feel like I've already seen this movie before. I have this sense of déjà vu, and it reminded me a lot of Caroline, and I think it's another one of Tim Burton's movies, and it's basically the same plot, and that one was a cartoon, this one is a movie, and
Yeah, it's funny that you mention it because in the original one, that was the character that Lydia had.
mhm,
She was almost the same as Jenna Ortega. Her father
yeah.
had just remarried, and she really didn't like her stepmother, played by Catherine O'Hara. So it's I do see the resemblance between this role for Jenna Ortega and like her in Wednesday and all of that, but it also does make sense because she's like imitating her mother.
Mhm.
About the images and the movie, I was very shocked when I watched the first Beetlejuice, and I
Yeah.
feel like having watched the first one less made me enjoy the second one more because I kind of knew what to expect. But going into the first one, I really didn't know what to expect, and it was just weird. Like a lot of things, as you said, didn't make
Yeah.
sense. Like there was like I don't know how to describe toys that were
Yeah.
supposed to be scary, like you know the snake in the desert, and it
Yeah,
just
and the special effects looked very weird. Like
yeah.
it's looked like way low budget for this kind of big movie.
Yeah, but I think that Tim Burton was born to make movies in this age because when they did the first Beetlejuice, it felt like there was
Mm,
no there wasn't that many special effects and all of that, so the whole movie felt like a marionette kind of
movie.
representation. Um, it was very, I don't know how to say it, whimsical. Like it was like toys. The
Hmm.
whole characters felt like toys. And I feel like with this one, the special effects got way better
Hmm.
because it's not like it's based on visual things and not like maquettes trying to be in the movie. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, it is very weird and not always coherent. But what I like about these movies is the fact that, you know, it reminds us that we can do whatever we want because it's a
Mm.
movie. So I think that's the beauty of it. What did you think of the acting?
I thought that the acting was great. Obviously, like they picked out great actors. I love seeing Monica Bellucci. I've only seen one movie of her, and it was traumatizing enough to never want to see anything that she does.
Was that Beetlejuice ex-wife?
Yeah,
Okay,
she did this movie with her ex-husband Vincent Cassel,
okay.
and it's called Irreversible, and and the director Gaspar Noé, the
Okay.
director that I always talk about,
Yeah.
and it's one of the most traumatizing movies out there because it's a movie about essay, and it's very graphic,
Okay.
and it like when it premiered, a lot of people were leaving the theater at the Cannes Festival, from what I heard.
Oof.
And yeah, it's a very hard movie to watch.
Okay.
And
I loved her scene where she stapled herself back
yeah,
together in the movie. I was like, wow, this is I don't, this was very odd, but I felt like it was well done. Yeah, Beetlejuice. Just
Beetlejuice. I really, I really liked what Wyona.
yeah.
That's her name.
Lydia, yes,
Lydia.
the mom.
I liked her acting. This is the first time that I see her act. I've heard a lot of things about her. I saw like all the edits with her and Johnny Depp,
Yeah.
and yeah, uh, I get the hype about her now. I liked her
Yeah,
stepmom.
Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah,
She's the same. She was in Argyle, Agent Argyle. She was
yeah, she was the
the
mom.
writer's mom. Yeah, and she was
Yeah,
also in Home Alone.
she's
I
hilarious.
also know her from Schitt's Creek. I loved her
Mhm.
in that series. She was so funny, and yeah, I
I
really
loved the husband too.
yeah.
The not Beetlejuice, the other guy,
The mean guy.
the
The
mean guy.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was very dramatic with his expressions. I
yeah,
really liked his acting because
Mhm.
it's not the kind of acting that would fit everywhere. It's
Yeah,
made for these kind of movies. Yeah.
yeah. And as I said, Jenna Ortega was great, but I'm just like, like we always talk about saturation when it comes to
Yeah.
actors, and I feel like I cannot see any more Jenna Ortega movies in this genre of movies.
You know, speaking of, I what I've found refreshing with Jenna's career right now, I really liked her role in Sabrina Carpenter's music video Taste. And I felt like it was so different from what she usually does. Because for the first time,
Yeah.
I saw her as like an young adult and not
Mhm.
just a rebellious teenager. And I think that was very nice.
Yeah, but I
So,
feel like it's still like very thriller-ish
yeah,
and very
true.
dark. And again, like a lot of actors choose to like specialize in a certain genre,
Hmm.
and I'm thinking of like Mia Goth, who did Maxine. She only does horror movies. At least like that's what she's known for, and her characters seem different in each horror movie. But like I don't know, like for Jenna Ortega, I feel like the movies are different, but the character itself is the same
Yeah.
basically. Even in her show in You, X, which is the prequel to
She was in
Maxine,
You?
she was in You.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, they all feel the same to me, and I just want to see her, I don't know, like happier.
Yes. Jenna, we want you
Smile
to be
more.
happy.
But she's a great actress. Like
I do agree.
obviously
Yeah.
it takes a lot of greatness to be able to portray a role like the one that she had in Beetlejuice so effortlessly.
Yeah. I felt like there were moments when the script was a bit too cliche, and I felt
Yeah.
like it takes great actors to make it
Mm.
sound natural. And I'm thinking about her scenes with the ghost, like when she first met the guy that she fell, and I don't know, their sentences were very predictable, and their whole
The
story.
crime and punishment
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
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 it
yeah,
was
yeah,
so
exactly.
cringe.
Yes, exactly. But because it was Jenna Ortega, it was less cringe than it would have been if it was a
I
different actor.
thought that it's like to me because it was Jenna Ortega, it was that cringe because this is what I expect her to say.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't know, I have this feeling of like, and I feel like something is unfinished about this movie. Like it has so much potential, but it feels lazy in some way. Like it feels like someone got too confident and they just assumed that it would do great, and so they didn't put in like
Yeah.
the spark, the final spark to make it great.
I see what you're talking about. Yeah. I also see a lot of resemblance in all of Tim Burton's movies. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. This movie, not only did it remind me of the original Beetlejuice, but I had a lot of Edward Scissorhands like
Mhm.
vibes, the
Yeah.
houses, the shots, everything, and that could be very nostalgic at times. But at the same time, I do agree with your point of wanting to have something new, like an extra
Yeah.
spark, and not just taking the same page from the book and
Hmm.
doing it over and over again. Interesting.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm not very familiar with this Tim Burton world. The only movie that I saw that I'm not even sure it's his. It's Caroline, but like I was a little bit disappointed. Yeah, I expected a little bit more because although everything was visually beautiful, which is already very hard to do, but I found myself a bit bored
Yeah.
while watching the movie. It just felt like something wasn't linking up and the sequences.
I do get it. It was
Yeah.
a very messy movie, and I think that's Beetlejuice.
Hmm.
It's a lot of things happening at the same time, and as you said, a lack of
Yeah, and
links.
also the singing. I mean, like, if you want to be musical, just stick to it.
Right.
But don't sing like in the middle of a scene and just, yeah. And also, I was very disappointed by the confrontation between Monica Bellucci's character, the ex-wife, and Beetlejuice. It felt like it lasted like 1 second and a
Yeah.
half, and all that build up led to nothing.
The movie lacked tension, yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of songs, I was kind of hoping that I was going to be surprised and it was going to be a musical
Mhm.
because with Mean Girls, they did a sequel for the
Yeah.
movie, and because it was a musical, they did like a musical movie,
Mhm.
and I was hoping that we would hear the songs from the Beetlejuice musical because I think they were great, and that wasn't the case. So that was a bit sad.
Honestly, I think that if they wanted to make it great and if they wanted to be original, they should have taken the same Mean Girls formula. Like
Yeah,
the previous one, the first one that came out wasn't a musical. The new one is a musical.
yeah,
So at least they have something original
yeah.
going on for themselves. And I feel like this Beetlejuice should have been a little tiny bit scarier. It should have still stayed a comedy, but with no music. Or if they wanted to do a musical, they should have just stick to that. I mean, like the best scene in this movie was the metro scene, when everyone was dancing,
Yes, yes,
and so yeah, maybe they should have made turned
yeah,
it into a musical.
yeah.
Yeah, but we're not the only ones thinking this. For
Well,
for once, like I've only seen bad reviews of Beetlejuice so far.
I've seen a
Everyone
few.
is
Yeah,
disappointed.
yeah.
So
Because when you add like a great director and you have an original great movie and you have great actors, your expectations are just gonna
yeah.
skyrocket. And I feel like the fact that it's all of these people at the same time,
Mhm.
and the movie, not only did it not meet the expectations, but it wasn't very close to them. So
Yeah.
I do get it. Yeah, but it's Beetlejuice. I was surprised the time I watched the first one. So with this one, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna expect anything. I know it's gonna be messy. Let's see where it's gonna go.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that sums it up.
I think it does. Thank you guys for watching.
And we'll see you next week. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, see you next week.
See you guys.
Bye.